Okay, good evening. So, last class, we stopped at Can tell me what we did last class? Where did we stop? Let me know those that are for me and those that are against me. Hi, Jafet. Hi, Abiodun. We got to safeguards last class, right? Hello.
Hi.
Did we get, is there anybody that, okay, is there anybody that this is your first class? Please, I'm talking
Yeah,
to
good
people now.
evening.
Good
My
evening.
first class.
Okay, this is your first class. Okay. So we have had two classes, but I just want to ask, is there anybody that was available for the two class or joined one of the classes? Anybody?
I was in the
If
last,
you did not, you can just say that I didn't, so that at least I know.
I was in the last class.
Okay, you were in the last class. So in the last class, we discussed professional ethics and code of conduct, right? Did
Yes.
we? I'm
Yes, we
sharing my
did.
screen now. Okay. So what are the fundamental code of ethics? What's the acronym? There's nothing that is a wrong answer. Is that one that has confidentiality, that has professional competence and due care? So what is the acronym?
Copy.
I think this one is 0.1 right. Wow. Does this mean that everything I said last class, nobody understood it? What is the acronym for your fundamental principle?
I already said copy. I guess you didn't hear what I
Oh,
said.
okay. I'm struggling to hear you guys, and my volume is at the loudest. So maybe if you can project more, because I didn't hear anything. You already said what?
Copy.
Copy. Okay, okay. So for somebody that is in this class, they've never heard of copy before. They are like, oh, is audit now French? Which one is copy? Oh yeah, break it down. What makes up copy?
So basically, we have five different fundamental principles. Copy is just like
Mm-hmm.
just an acronym we use in making it seem, I don't know, making it look simpler or something. So
Okay.
for each fundamental principle, each letter that starts the principle is what we join together to get copy.
Okay. Okay. Great. So does somebody want to precious? Okay, thank you so much. That's Abiodun that spoke, right?
Journey.
Oh, Tijani, thank you so much, Tijani. So, Precious, do you want to continue from where Tijani stopped?
Not
I'll
really. I
still
just
give like an overview for those that are
joined.
just joining us
I
for the
just joined.
first time. Can you hear me? But I just want to confirm that what we even did last class, we understand. Okay? So, Precious, do you want to continue from where Tijani stopped?
No, not just now. I just joined the class now.
Okay, this is your first class as well.
No, this is my second class, but I just joined the room now.
Okay, okay. So I don't want to call names. If you know that you were in the last class, it's literally on your screen. Just walk us through copy. Hello. Are we saying that we're not here? Okay, no problem. Let's press for
Good
time.
evening,
So
ma.
good evening, Oinda. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
with you. So do you want to continue from Tijani already gave us like a brief overview?
I thought to say you asked about the meaning of copy. I was not in last class.
Yes,
I just
yes,
want
yes.
to. Copy is like the fundamental
Okay,
principle, the general fundamental principle, the code of ethics. So that's copy. We have confidentiality, objectivity, professionalism, behavior. I we have integrity. I think that yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So it's actually okay. Thank you so much, Oinda. So it's
Yes.
on the document I just presented. So last class we discussed our professional ethics and code of conduct, and there are five of them. We have our five fundamental principle, and I was basically explaining that this principle is so important because it's something that you will use all through your professional journey, right? Is in financial reporting, it is in PSAF, it is in tax. You use it in SBR, right? So it's worth knowing. Even when you are doing induction, they will still find a way to just slot it in. That's how important it is. Yes, so that's one of the things that we discussed here last class. I was just trying to do a refresher. So the way it works is that you have your fundamental principle called copy, confidentiality, objectivity, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, and integrity. Okay, so following copy, you now move on to following copy, you then now move on to the threats, right? What are the things that stops you from being able to follow your fundamental principle? And that gives us what acronym is that? What acronym do we use for our threats? People that were in class. This is just a refresher because I want to start with past questions today. That is why I'm doing this. Normally, I'll just move into the next chapter. So I want to start with past questions. So what is the acronym for our threats?
The acronym for our threats is SAFI.
Thank you so much. It seems it's only Tijani that I taught last class. So, Tijani, how will I explain to people now that it was not only you that was in class? But thank you so much. So, the acronym for our threats is SAFI: self review, self interest, advocacy, familiarity, and intimidation traits. I will not go into details in today's class. So we discussed it. So it's not like this is how you should behave. There are now so many things that stops you from behaving that way. So those things are traits. Now the way it works is now that in order to manage that trait, we now have what we call safeguards, right? So these safeguards, there are two of them: safeguard that is created by the profession, by legislation, or by regulation. That's number one. And then we have safeguard within the work environment as number two. Safeguard within the work environment as number two. So that was what we discussed last class. I think that was where I stopped. Yes, going through the video. I think that was where we stopped the class last class. Okay. Now, for those that are joining us for the first time, hi, my name is Christiana Opalua. I I would be your audits and sorry, I will be your audit and assurance facilitator. I and Mr. Desalu will be taking the course together. Nothing to worry about. Audit at skills level is very straightforward. They ask their questions. They can ask you what is audit. This is the stage where you can expect that kind of question. And I always tell students, if you give audit what it requires, I don't think you should have a problem with audit at all. So I sent past questions to your group. I think I did that. I want to stop sharing my screen. I sent the list of past questions, like all the time
Hello,
these
ma.
questions were tested. Can you hear me?
Hello, good evening, ma.
Good
Hello?
evening.
Yeah. Like you said, audit is a straightforward course. It's not straightforward, bro. Like I listened to your lecture last diet. Audit was one of my best
Mm-hmm.
last diet. I scored 18. Was it
Okay.
18 over 100? I was shocked when I saw the results.
Okay. Let me ask you one simple question. When you listen to the video, did you practice answering past questions yourself? I don't mean you are reading the past question. Like you open a book, you would sit down and say, if I'm in the exam hall, what will I have written for this question?
Okay. I did.
Did you do that?
Yes. Like basically
Did you do that to
I
the point
past
where if you see any question, you know what the answer is?
maybe 70, 80% I was prepared. I was
Okay. So what do you think happened?
I don't know. I was shocked when I saw the result. Wow. Audit. To God be the glory, Sha.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
you are here.
Yes,
You
ma.
are here. But from the two classes, is this your first class?
Yes. Last week
Okay.
I joined, but my network was bad, so I had to.
Okay. So there are two classes that have been uploaded, right?
Okay, ma.
This is how I advise students to read. Number one, come to class. Because when you come to class, you have shared your burden into half. You have given a part of your burden to the tutor that is teaching that, oh, you have a responsibility to make me understand. So that is the first thing. The second thing is, it's not just coming to class. If you come to class and you do not engage with the class that you have come to, you might as well just have sat down in your house, which is what a lot of people used to do. If you feel righteousness, it's Thursday evening, I need to join class. And then you just join. And then Christina is calling you. Oh, answer this question. What did we say last class? What did we? And then it is met with silence. The work of a teacher is a season where the teacher is talking. The teacher is the one asking you to talk. Talk now, talk now. And then a season will come where the teacher will be quiet, right? And when the teacher is quiet, coming. Okay. So, and when the teacher is quiet, is already close to exam time. Abi?
Yes, ma.
So that's just one thing I always tell students. You have already paid. Make it count. Demand for your money by asking questions in class, by attentively following the class, not allowing class to happen to you. Be a part of the class. Then the next step is where the work is. When there's an online class, you are still 100% responsible for the outcome of your examination. So after these 2 hours, or I don't, because we do this class at 8:30, I try to keep it really straight to the point. So after this 1 hour class, it does not mean that you automatically know everything in that chapter. And that's why I like to analyze the past questions chapter by chapter. So we've done chapter 1. I've sent the analysis of past question. The times they tested chapter 1 from November 2014 till November 2024. If I get an updated list, I will add it. I would definitely get an updated list before we finish diet. for 2025 and May 2026. So this is how you read. You have taken chapter 1. You have the study pack, the compressed study pack that has been done, the one for equity. Read it, and then you go to past questions and everything under chapter 1, read it. You don't leave chapter 1 until you know that there's nothing possible that they can ask me in chapter 1 that I will not know. Then you go to chapter 2 too. You join the class, you listen to the class, you engage with the class. Then when you read, you go to the past questions. All the time you say chapter 2, do I know it? Can I answer it independently? I always tell students, if you are somewhere, if you are at work with your colleagues, just sit them down and teach them what you learned last week. You can never forget what you teach. This class is not exceptionally convenient for me, or it's not. I could easily have my Thursday evening to myself, but it's always a refresher. It's always a good time to remember all these things again. So that is how you engage with this course. It's not just listen to one erroneous voice. Oh, they taught me this thing. I think I know it. No, you have to engage. I know that we are doing online class, so we are like, why should I have a note? Today, go and open a 40 leaves for audits. Open it. Write out the course outline. Okay, these are the chapters that are there. How many have we done in class? 2. How many have I watched? How many have I listened to? Then from this past question, how many have I done? Can I go into the exam more knowing that I know all the questions that they will ask me? Don't lie to yourself. Be very, very honest with yourself. Okay? I've
Thank
had
you, ma.
people that failed this thing multiple times. There's a trick to it, and you can easily learn it. Okay?
Thank
Enough
you.
motivation for the day. Moving on. So I was trying to do a refresher for those that just joined us for the first time. So skills audit is very straight to the point. I literally know somebody that the only thing she did was to listen to class, and she even engaged this material. She said she never even do so much past question, and she passed, right? So you are in safe hands. You just need to engage properly. Yes, that's what I'll say. So we've done 2 classes. They're all on YouTube. Please feel free to watch them. So just to conclude this chapter 2 before we move on to our chapter for the day, like I said earlier, myself and Mr. Desalu takes this course, and I also shared the outline for how we are going to be taking the course. I know that new people have joined, so I will share it again after the end of the class. So Mr. Desalu was one that took you need for audit and assurance. I took you professional ethics and code of ethics. So now we're going to move on to obtaining an engagement. Okay, but just to continue chapter 2, to round up chapter 2 before we move chapter 3, the essence of knowing your fundamental principle, of knowing your threats, and knowing all the safeguards that are possible to manage these threats when they materialize, is simply because as an accountant, you'll be faced with, or as an accountant or as an auditor, you'll be faced with ethical dilemmas every now and then. Okay? You'll be faced with ethical dilemmas every now and then. Things will happen in the office and they will test your fundamental ethics. Okay? They will test your fundamental ethics. So it's because of conflict resolution, ethical conflict resolution. That's why we need you to understand how breach of your fundamental principle work. Now, when initiating a formal or informal conflict resolution process, a chartered accountant should consider the following, either individually or together with others or as part of the resolution process. Number 1, we want you to consider the relevant facts. What are the relevant facts in this case? Number 2, what are the ethical issues that are involved in the case? So number 3, let me just go over it. Number 3, what fundamental principle is the case related to? Number 4, what internal procedures do we want to establish to be able to solve or carry on these affected procedures based on these principles? And then the 5 one is that what is the course of action? What are the alternative course of action? So if we're doing this at the professional stage, I would say that when they want to ask chapter 2, they don't used to ask what is SAFI, what is safeguard. No, they'll give you an entire scenario. You are an accountant for a firm, or you're an auditor, an independent auditor. You have gotten to your client side. Your client now says, "Oh, we don't have we don't have financial statement to our accountant left us in the middle of the financial year, so we don't have financial statement. We don't have statements." And then because of that, they will not tell you that, "Oh, please, can you help us to prepare the financial statement and still audit it?" People that were in class last class, when a professional is being found reviewing a work that was done by him, what kind of threats does it lead to? When you are reviewing a work that was done by you,
Self-review threat.
what kind of threats does it lead to?
Self-review test. Self-review threats.
Exactly. So it is that self-review trait. Now, when you want to answer the question, you start like this. What are the relevant facts in the case? Because a lot of times, ICANN will not give you a straightforward question. The question will go from this side to this side to this side. They will explain this is what happened. The accountant called into the office, blah, blah, blah. But there will be relevant facts there, which is the one that actually really concerns us. Then we'll move on to what ethical issues are involved, what has been breached. Then number 3, what fundamental principles relate to the matter in question? So from your copy, which of the copy has been breached? Okay. Number 4, we have what internal procedures do you want to put in place? Okay. And then you will now say, this is your alternative question. It's not all the questions that you will use the 5-step model that this model to answer, but most of your questions will be asked on like a scenario basis. Okay. So that's the way ethical conflict resolution works. I will not overflog it in skills because you will not get a lot of it. What you will see is questions, direct questions asking you what the threats are, what the safeguard is, and what the fundamental principle is. So the next subheading, I think, yes, maybe is concept of whistleblowing. Who has ever been in a place? Who has encountered whistleblowing in real life? What is whistleblowing? And who has seen it in real life? Because you don't forget stories. So who has encountered whistleblowing in real life? Hello? Is somebody speaking? Do you guys know what whistleblowing is? Please now, this silence. Hey, am I speaking to a class? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, but I was talking. Nobody. Do we know what whistleblowing is or we don't know?
Yes, we know. We know.
Good evening. Good evening.
Okay,
Can you
so
hear me?
please speak.
Yeah, whistleblowing is
Yes.
just the act of reporting something that is unethical or illegal so that appropriate actions can be taken to prevent further occurrence.
Okay, thank you so much. Who spoke?
Yeah, Abiodun.
Okay, thank you so much, Abiodun. Very correct. Whistleblowing is just the act of what disclosing either an unethical or illegal or fraudulent activity within an organization so that people that can actually take corrective action, people that can take it up, can do the needful. Okay, so that is what whistleblowing is. Now, example, an accountant is seeing manipulation of figures, maybe from the sales team, or is seeing an issue with the manufacturing plants from the manufacturing team, and then they are calling it out either to internal management or to external management. When I say external management, I mean like the audit committee or the board itself. Okay, so that is whistleblowing. And there are so many stories of whistleblowing. You can, if you literally just check online for a whistleblowing movie, you watch it. It's a very serious thing because people that whistleblow, what happens to them if in the industry, if it comes out and sometimes maybe there are so many people involved, they are being blacklisted. Okay, so whistleblowing is an entire concept. But as an accountant, you should understand that there are procedures and there are steps that are required before you whistleblow. You need to check that all your facts are right. You need to speak to a licensed professional party about your findings before you just make like careless accusation and then you are now on the bad side of a lot of people. So, what is the role of whistleblowing in audit and assurance? Auditors are not direct whistleblowers, but they're expected to be able to identify irregularities in the financial and operating system. And this is where the perception of that auditors are responsible for checking fraud and error, this is where it comes in. So there's no how that you do that kind of detailed analysis of a client system, and then you'll not be able to see irregularities that exist. Okay. And when you see those irregularities, what they expect you to do is to voice out. Also, you are also supposed to be able to escalate material concerns to management or corporate governance team. And then lastly, if there is a risk that affects the general public, I told you, I think I mentioned NOCLA briefly last class. NOCLA means non-compliance with laws and regulation. When your client is being found doing things like fraud, violating environmental rules, funding terrorism, all those things are not in the confines of confidentiality. You know that already. So they are not in the confines of confidentiality. All those things are not the part, they're not part of the things that you should keep quiet about. Okay. So this includes what? It includes tax fraud, bribery and corruption, environmental and health violations, security law breaches. So when these are the things, when this is what is involved, what happens is that you are required to do what? To disclose. Okay? You are required to disclose because the moment you keep quiet about things that affect the public interest, then what happens? You are an accomplice to that crime, which you don't want. So, NOCLA stands for non-compliance with laws and regulation. Okay, so under IASA 250, how should the auditor respond to NOCLA? Number one, understand the laws that are applicable to that client. Ask management about their compliance system to see whether this person is actually breaching their compliance system or if the person is not. Number three, you want to report findings to those that are charged with governance. Oh, this is what we realize. This is what I'm saying. Number four, consider withdrawing from the audits or reporting externally. If you are telling the internal manager, you can read their body language that, oh, this is something that they are aware of. They know that this thing is happening. And then lastly, you must make sure that even if you are reporting them, you are following due process. You cannot just go by yourself to a news outlet to go and be reporting your clients. You are still required to follow the outlined rule that has been slated down for how they expect the communication to go. Okay? So, linking whistleblowing and NOCLA. Whistleblowing, you are reporting unethical behavior. NOCLA, you are reporting actual or suspected legal violations. In whistleblowing, it can be anonymous. But in NOCLA, the auditor must be accountable for the findings because it's very, very serious. The third one is that in whistleblowing, it may lead to protection under the law because, like I said, when people whistleblow, they have the tendency of being blacklisted. So the law has a way of shielding them from like the general public when it comes to with the result of their blacklisting. You understand? So, but for NOCLA, it may lead to withdrawal from the engagements. Okay. This whistleblowing can be done by an employee or a stakeholder, but for there to be non-compliance with law and regulation, it has to be an external party that is coming into the firm. Okay? So what are the things that we want to note? We want to note that accountants must act in public interest. So yes, someone is asking me that what concerns me. Yes, you owe the fact that you are a chartered, which you are on the path to be. The fact that you are a chartered accountant, you owe the general public, people that don't even know anything about this audit at all. You owe the general public the best. Anything that has your name on it, you should make sure that anything that has anything that has your name on it, you should make sure that that thing is excellent. You should make sure that it does not contain iota of lies or manipulation. Okay. Then we have the framework for whistleblowing it is the Whistleblowing Protection Act of 2023, which protects good faith reporters. It encourages disclosure. It encourages disclosure of misconduct in public and private sector. And the channels that you have, you can either whistleblow internally, so your audit committee, your internal audit team, or if in your organization you have ethic hotlines, place like a department that like flags all these things, or externally can be EFCC, ICPC, Security Exchange Commission, Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Central Bank, or it can be in a legal counsel, like if the matter has gotten to court. The failure to report, what does it lead to? Number one, it can be tagged as a misconduct. Number two, disciplinary actions by ICANN or regulators. Let me tell you, you know that this ICANN is hard. I cannot do that one. I cannot even tell you that it's simple. ICANN is it's not hard, but it's very stressful. You are supposed to be in your bed right now, but you cannot because you have committed to this. So imagine that you will now do something, they will now wipe out your name from the register. We don't want that, okay? And then we have legal liability. So legal liability just means that you can be sued and you don't want to be referred to, just like I said earlier, as an accomplice to a crime. So that is that on this chapter. One thing I want us to do is to check. I know time is fast spent, but let's check 2 past questions of the time they've tested this. I've sent it to your group, so just call 2 of the diets for me. I'm listening. Two of the diets. Hello. Please, Opu is telling me the diets to search for.
Yeah, with you, ma.
Yeah, I said 2 of the diets. Like I sent analysis of the question.
Okay. Professional ethics and code of conduct, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let's do May 2024.
Okay, question 4. So this document can easily just search 2024. Takes time to load because it's quite large, but it's eventually used to come out. Okay. So you can see question 4. Define public interests. Identify 5 matters which can be associated with the public. In setting code of ethics, It said that principle-based rather than rule-based. Justify. Explain the concept of due care and reasonable care. Explain why the concept of due care or reasonable care is important. I mentioned this one last class when I was talking about the person that had headache and they were giving flagyl. Do you remember?
Yes.
Hello? Eh? Did somebody say yes? State two implications of the auditor failing to act on the information they got in relation to reduced cost of maintenance and inspection at Metro Power. So there's a case. Metro Power is a major public utility company that was entrusted with providing electricity to millions of residents and business. Mr. Mark, the lead technician at Metro Power for years, responsible for maintaining the electric grid to ensure reliable supply of electricity to the city. Metro Power's financial statements were subjected to annual audits. When Ms. Jennifer assumed her role as the department supervisor, she implemented cost-cutting measures aimed at reducing the budget allocated for routine maintenance. This decision raised significant ethical concerns as Mr. Mark believed that it would compromise the safety and reliability of the electrical grid. He knew that such actions could lead to power outages and electrical hazard. Mr. Mark found himself in a dilemma, which is the ethical conflict resolution that I talk about today. He's torn in between making electricity available and the potential consequence of opposing his new supervisor's cost-cutting measures. Mr. Mark documented his concerns, maintained detailed records of previous maintenance schedules and their impact on the grid reliability. The auditors came across the evidence of reduced cost of maintenance and inspections in Metro Power. Number one, define public interest. What does public interest mean in simple words? What did I say? As an accountant, what do? You owe what? Please now. Okay, let me answer my question for myself. As an accountant, you owe the general public a duty of care. That's just what it means. A duty of care. Anything you do that affects the general public, as it's not as an accountant, as a chartered accountant, anything you do, like I said, any report you are signing, anything you are verifying that becomes an information on the outputs affect the general public, you want to understand that there's some people that don't have this knowledge that you have. I'm currently doing an MBA, and you will be so amazed, like how people are so they are amazed at the about the whole thing about revenue not being profits, administrative expenses. Oh, this is how this one works, this is how this one works, this is how ledger works. People don't have this knowledge that you have. So if you have this knowledge and you are signing or ratifying anything, you want to make sure that it is the right thing. Number two, identify 5 matters which public interest can be associated. Like I said, anything that concerns what? Tax fraud, terrorism, abi, tax fraud, terrorism. Mention more. Terrorism financing. What else? Bribery and corruption, environmental and health violations, security law breaches, all those things, they are related to the public interests. Okay? And you must call it out. Number three, they said principle-based is better than rule-based. Why? Who wants to explain? That was in last class. We spent so much time on this principle-based and rule-based. So who wants to explain for us? You people are making me feel like last class I was just talking to myself. Anybody here? Or were people that attend last class? Are they not here?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so the from my understanding, I know last class you spoke about the rule based and principle based. So the rule based, I think yeah, it follows like some certain rules. So there's no flexibility with it. So it's just the certain rules that have been set that you have to follow. Then for principle based, I think it's on a case to case basis on the context um of the situation or the breach that you have to now decide what principles apply and how you can resolve it.
Okay. So yes, this is a very, this, what you just did now, this what we say is a very high level definition. You
Yeah.
and your family name, you understand. You and your household, you understand what you have said. Who wants to bring it down to us like we're in primary two?
Where's my household?
I try.
Hello, good evening,
Hello.
ma'am.
Good evening, ma. Okay.
Good evening. So do
Rule
you want to,
based,
okay.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Rule based is more rigid. So
Okay.
so why principle based principle it provide broad principle that is guideline to follow, more details rule. So it
So
requires
what's the what do we call principle based what and what? Comply or what?
I was not in last class.
Ah,
Can I
okay.
Yes.
People that were in last class, what do we call principle based? Comply or what? Hmm.
can I
Comply
say
or explain. Have you forgotten? The principle base is comply or explain why you are not complying. The rule base, there are a set of stated rules, and you must follow those rules regardless. I use an example of auditing your financial statements yearly. Do you guys remember at all? Hmm.
Yeah.
Ha. I'm not feeling safe at all. Oh. I'm like, did I talk to a new set of people? Okay. Next question. Explain the concept of due care or reasonable care and why is it important when you are providing service? Oh yeah, now. If you cannot remember anything, talk about the person that had headache that they gave flagyl. That's what they're asking you here. First of all, I want to even peace. Good evening, peace. I've not heard your voice at all. Ugo, good evening. Were you in last class? Amarachi, were you in the last class?
yes, but I logged that along the line.
Yeah, but like this thing, we did it at the beginning part of the class. Peace, I'm speaking to you. Ugo, I'm speaking to you. So what you people want is somebody that will come to class and just be talking to the screen. Then at the end of the diet, you say you don't understand what the person was teaching. Please, if you are here, you need to make it count. I
Okay.
don't like
Mm.
it's different to say I was not in class. It's also another thing to say I was in class. I didn't understand what you said. Job, but
Can
just
I
if somebody
can I say
talking
something
and then
about
keeping the person quiet.
can I say something about the due care?
Yes, you can. Even if you don't have anything to say, just tell me that you don't. Yeah, that's also a response.
Okay, using your the example you gave us last time, okay, or how would I say? For example, that somebody is not feeling fine, and the person went to a pharmacy to get a medicine. The doctor can detect, oh, this is what is wrong with you. That's due care. But somebody that is not a doctor or what can just, based on his or her knowledge, say that okay, probably it's malaria or stuff like that. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, you get the sense, but let me explain. So this thing is professional competence and due care. I said professional competence means having the skill that is required to carry out the job. That's professional competence. What is now due care? Due care is even if all of us have the skill, we are all doctors. It is the ability for your doctor to be able to make sure that he is answering the specific problem that you have. I was saying that if somebody is a doctor and somebody comes to meeting that he has running stomach and the doctor gives the person paracetamol, another person say he has running stomach and the person is giving flagyl, that what the doctor has done, did it stop him from being a doctor? No, he's still a doctor. But if the person that received the wrong treatment goes back and sues the doctor, the person also, that doctor will be wrong because he did not exercise the level of care that he should have, the person that had headache should have gotten. And we're saying it in the context of every company is different. The need of every company is also different as well. As a professional, you must be able to answer the direct need of the client. Don't say that when we audited Dangote, it was not this hard now. We just did the audit in 3 months. They had all their supporting documents, all of that. And then you want to carry that perception into auditing all your remaining clients. It's not going to work. Okay? So that's the case for due care. It just means that every client, every business relationship requires a dedicated, like based on your understanding of that engagement, it requires a dedicated level of care and it should be given on that basis. It will not be given because there is a care that is the template. This is how we do the care. And then everybody's going to be getting that same level of care because if somebody has severe headache, that's the exact words I used last class. If somebody has severe headache and somebody has headache, they will have different solutions. Somebody can have just headache and they have been admitted. Another person will have headache, they just give you, they won't tell you that you should buy the drug outside and drink it. You guys are not, I'm feeling really perhaps today. Let everybody wake up. Oh. This is not how I don't teach like this. 2019 till now. Even if it is 2 people in the class, you will talk. You need to open your mouth and talk. So if you just someone that is taking us, I know that should make me to talk. You can just excuse yourself from the class. Thank God that it's recording. Spend so much time on this past question. State 2 implication of the author failing to act on the information. Like I said now, this is here in your summarized notes. What happens? You are being counted as somebody that's part of the misconduct, right? Number 3, is that there can be disciplinary actions from ICANN, which I said that anything that you know, anything that you do, just know that it is you and your membership number against the world. Okay. Moving on. So because of our time, I would just like to move to the actual topic for the day. Any question from what we just concluded? Any question?
Question over here.
What did you say?
No question from my
Hi.
side.
I don't know if it's me. You said none from your side. Okay, thank you. So let's just move now. You already know what audit is, and you already know that these are the rules that apply to auditors when they are carrying out their work. And you also already know the threats that they face and how they solve the threats. Abi? So after this is to go and collect work now. Abi, no time. Let's go and collect work. So let's talk about obtaining an engagement, which is chapter 3. Obtaining an engagement. Now we have that audit practices will want to increase the size of audit companies, not companies, audit firms want to increase the size of their clients. This audit practice is still correct because what everybody is doing is audit practices, assurance practices. So they want to increase their client base, of course. So, and in increasing their client base, what do they need to do? Because they want to increase their client base because they want to increase profits. And in order to do this, what do they need to do? They need to make sure that they have good reputation in the business community and their existing clients are able to recommend them to their new clients. Okay. And how do they get these new clients? They can either advertise or they do promotion, which makes sense, right? Does this make sense? Well, let me now ask you, have you ever seen a Deloitte advert? Have you ever seen a KPMG advert before? Have you ever seen an EY advert? And I actually want you to unmute and speak.
No,
Have you ever?
no.
Have you thought about why you have never seen? You're like, and everybody will be calling these companies big four, big four. You people big. Abby, have you not thought about that before?
Because they make their proposals professionally.
Because they make their proposals professional. This is the first time I'm okay to that Tijani, which is a very good way to think about it. They make their proposals professionally. Okay, we'll see whether they make their proposals professionally today. So let's move on. When a professional accountant in the public practice solicits new work in form of advertising, there may be a threat to compliance with ethical principle. This our ethical principle is very deep. One say that you should have integrity. Another one say you should behave professionally. Another one say that you should be confidential. And like there are just so many things to follow. And if we follow the normal advertisement rule, the way they used to market Bet Naija, the way they used to market body enhancements, can we advertise audit like that? We'll come online. Audit. People of you have seen that meme of that guy, that doctor that was saying doctors in the nearest future that was doing TikTok live. How many of you have seen it? I'll ask audit question. You say no. I'm asking you TikTok now. How many of you have seen it?
I've not seen it. I've
I've
not seen
not
that.
seen it though.
I've
Oh
not
yeah,
seen
do you
it
know I
too.
always ask students this question every diet. What are you doing with your time? You should explain to me. Somebody in this class should tell me a average day in their life. Oh yeah, or mute. Because now I've asked you about class that we did last week Thursday. You did not answer me. Now I'm asking you about Instagram video. You people say you have not seen it, but it was a very funny video of a doctor. Like it was the guy is still a student, but it was like doctors in the nearest future. So you know how on TikTok they'll say tap tap tap. You understand? So the guy was basically like a hype man, but he's a doctor. And then he was saying, oh, double tap, go donkey. And he was doing like the popular sound like Osham or Kinikon. And he was supposed to be a doctor. And he was like, this is that this country is going for doctors to be able to eat. So basically, that's what I'm trying to say, that we cannot also advertise audits like that. I cannot go on the road and be saying, please audit. Does it work that way? You just go to your streets, you now be sharing pamphlets, audit. Can we market audit like that? No. So based on that, there are requirements for the advertising and publicity of our services. So what are the rules? See, you see anything that you do in this life, know this chapter. It comes out a lot. This is how they used to ask it. What are ICAN rules as it relates to advertisement and publicity? Chaka. And there are four, be five. There are four, but they are like plus and minus. You can say there are five. Let me just say there are five, right? Yeah, there are five. And they will not ask you what are ICAN rules as it relates to fees. So what are their rules for advertising? Number one, it must not discredit the professional body, the firm you are working for, or the profession at a large. You know how this guy came and said, I don't upgrade, go NTN. Abi, when he moved from Etisalat, you cannot do that. You cannot be leaving EY on LinkedIn and bash EY because you are going to PwC. We don't do that here. Okay, so you can see the limitations that we already have. You cannot discredit the professional body. You cannot call auditors not useful. You cannot discredit the firm that you are engaged in, and you cannot even discredit the entire profession. Number two, you cannot make extravagant claims about the services offered and qualifications. You see all those things that they will say, oh, come and join Duro Jaye company. Ahmed Tijani is a ICAN chartered holder from Equity. That means he knows everything in the world. He has 792 years experience. It will change your life. Like you cannot do all those what they used to call it, like extravated marketing. So they will say, come and get goods for as low as 999999999. When you reach there, by the time you add taxes, you are still paying 10K. We don't do all those extravagant claims for services, for qualifications. You do CFA, it's the same random post that they will still do for you. Okay? Because those are the things that we put in place to make sure that we still have our reputation. Number 3, like I said, okay. Tijani, you can speak.
Sorry, please, can you scroll down a bit so we can see the rules?
Okay, let me even just cancel this. Increase this and coming. Is this better? Is this better?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay, so that's why I kept on saying that it is 4. So number 1, you cannot bring disrespect to the profession. Number 2, you cannot make extravagant claims about services offered, qualifications. You can also add this one. Qualifications possessed, yes, or experience gained. So this A, B, and C, it should be B. Okay. So number 3, you cannot discredit the service of other providers simply because you are making reference or comparing the work of accountants. You cannot say it's only PwC that we generated Minister of Finance. What did you people do in KPMG? Do you even have anybody in the cabinet? Those kind of claims, you cannot make them. Okay? Is wrong. That is not how we advertise ourselves. That's not publicity for us. Then number 4 is that when you are doing these advertisements, you still cannot break any locally recognized laws or codes of advertisements. So number 1, don't discredit the profession or the body or other firms. Number 2, don't make extravagant claims about services you are offering, qualifications, possessed, experiences you gained. Number 3, don't discredit the services of another person just because you are trying to make comparison. Like now, it happened now. You know when Taiwo Edele was did this whole tax law now. So there was somebody from I don't know. Yes, I think I saw the matter one time. There was somebody from KPMG, was the head of their team too, that now did like a paperwork on like the chat just titled it like ambiguous things about the new tax reform rollouts and everything like that. And it just became very personal. People that were from the previous company that I where they had worked were like, oh, this is a direct shade, all of that, all of that, all of that. And it kind of just became messy as well, right? But that's what we're saying. In terms of advertising yourself, you cannot be discrediting the work of another person. It's different to ask questions genuinely, and it's another thing to water down the work that somebody has done. Okay, so these are 4. Please, when I say anything you do, sleep with them, wake up with them. So it's because of these 4 things that to do even the advertisements is hard. How many of you know that it is Deloitte that used to count BB Niger votes? How many of you know that? You also don't watch Big Brother Niger. You used to listen to news. Abby? Answer me now.
Some of us, our network is not
What do you say, ma?
stable, so
Ah,
I did not get your question.
I'm not interested in Big Brother Nigeria.
but I said, how many of you know that it is Deloitte that used to count the votes for Big Brother Nigeria? And now said that, oh, you
Well,
people don't know that you used to listen to news, Abby. You don't watch things like that. Amarachi, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's okay, but you said how many of us know that? I didn't get that.
That it is, can you guys hear me? Is my sound going on and off?
It's okay.
hello.
Yes, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you.
I can
For
hear.
me, the reason why I might not, because it's not, Big Brother Nigeria is not my interest. I do know that, yes, Deloitte, one time they were counting. I watch football and the Ballon d'Or votes. I know that sometimes they use Deloitte or something, one of the big four, to count the.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm interested in that. But if you just tell me anything about Big Brother Nigeria, it's just all white noise for me. So maybe that's why.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I was trying to use something that was very relatable because most people just watch the show. They don't even know. Do you understand? And then somebody's like, but you're the ones doing that. Why are they not advertising themselves, right? It's a very big platform you get. So it's rules like this. They can't discredit the profession. They can't bring disreputation to the profession at large. They can't make extravagant claims. They cannot come to the state and say, "Oh, we're the only ones that will count most accurate. We're the only ones that will give you your real figures." But like, do you understand? All of that, they cannot do that. They just come, they do their work, and that's all. Okay? Yeah. So moving on. Now, in addition, just imagine this addition is a new paragraph. In addition, it is recommended that advertisements and publicity materials should avoid any reference to fees. If fees are mentioned, there should be a statement of the basis upon which those fees are to be charged. Comment on fees, number one, it must not be misleading. So this way they ask question two in one. What are ICANN's code of conduct or rules on advertisement and publicity? That will be number one. The four now, they can put something like 8 marks. Then they will say, what are ICANN rules as it relates to fees? 3 marks or 2 marks. You understand? That's already a 10 marks question. So what are ICANN rules related to fees? Number one, it cannot be misleading. You cannot say, come and collect audit services for as low as 5,000 naira, 5,000 or 5999999. You now reach there, you now say, oh, it's for a company that has only 2 employees. You know, they do it a lot now. You want to do something, they will say, oh, come and do this thing for as low as 999. And I say, oh, it's only for people that the the clause will just be very, very tiny. And before you know, it takes everybody out of people that can benefit from the supposed discounts. Okay. Number two, must not offer discounts. And this one is very funny. The person said, what are you discounting? Is it the quality of work you are doing? Oh, was 20K. Now was 20 million. Now 5 million. We're looking for money. So as you people are looking for money as a firm, it means that you people should now do what? Decrease the quality of your work just because you want to get clients. So we don't used to do all those exorbitant discounts. And number three, it must not make comparison to the price of others. You cannot say KPMG, or why am I using KPMG a lot today? You cannot say what's this other one? EY, KPMG, PwC, and what's the last one? What's the last one now? Deloitte, right? So you cannot say Deloitte will charge you 16 million, but we at PwC will charge you 8 million. That's who we are. All of we don't do that over here. Okay? So these are ICANN rules on fees. Who wants to re-explain these ICANN rules on fees to us? Well, I've never heard it before. Explain ICANN rules on fees to us. Amarachi, you can speak.
Hello.
Your hands were raised. Your hand is raised.
I have a question, please.
Okay.
Can I go on?
Yes.
Okay. We are talking about an engagement, and we- audit practice, they can increase their size their clients through orders, through advertise. But with all these rules and everything, how can I advertise? Is this not a rule-based? It's not a rule-based regulation again. With all the rules there to advertise again.
So that's why when you want to see the advertisement, you now go to magazine. You now go to the front cover or inside the front cover. then you will now see the advertisement there. And what do they use to advertise? Deloitte. They will list out all the services that they render. Then they will tell you to reach out to them via their mail. Then they will put their company values. Abi, that's where they advertise. That's what they can do. So actually, there was one class I taught that one of the students said, if you even look at all these rules said, there's no need. You just sit down and be hoping for the best. But Johnny said something very profound when we stayed in the class. He said they make their proposals privately, right? The way it works is that we're going to talk about it. I don't want to move faster than myself, okay? But just know that all these rules is actually one of the reasons why there's still sanity in the profession. If these rules don't exist, people are chattered box now. Sometimes you just think about it, that how the people that have worked in this Deloitte, all the people that have worked in this KPMG, they will not even tell us gist. It's all these things that put people in check. Okay? Now we have that ICANN professional. Amachi, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you. Yes, you did.
Okay. Yeah. ICANN professional code of conduct and guide for members states that if an accountant in public practice is in doubt on whether to do a proposed form of advertising or if it is inappropriate, they should consult the registrar and chief executive of ICANN. You see what they said? They don't even say you should go to the corners. They say if you are confused, go and ask head of ICANN. That's how serious it is. So now, when it comes to fees, the code of conduct states that members should charge for your fee. Okay? Charge for your service. On the basis that where the basis of a fee has not initially been agreed, then a member should charge a fee which he considers fair and reasonable. Number one, the seniority and like what are the things that you should consider if you want to charge a fee? Like you as the other party, they have done ICANN, you have done everything. What are the things that you should consider? Number one, you want to consider the seniority and the level of professional expertise. You want to consider the time. Number three, you want to consider the degree of risks and responsibility that is involved in the work you are doing. And then you want to consider the importance of the work to the clients, right? How important is this a major thing? You understand? Because that will determine the level of care, the amount of staff, the amount of staff, the work hours, and all of that will be involved. Okay. So firms should charge the client the fee that they quote or tender that the client has accepted, unless extra work is required. So that's where they used to do audits. They kind of leave a buffer. Okay, this audit is supposed to take 4,000 hours, right? But what happens if you people don't provide us with the documents that we will need at the time we will need it? There's a plus and minus of since I said how many hours now? 4,000. So 10% is a plus and minus 40 hours based on your responsiveness on providing support documentation. Okay? So that is it about fees. So ICANN is not saying that you should not charge you. I can't say you should charge your words. Abi, as a lady, know your words. I can't say you should charge your words. Number two, we have tendering. Now, what is tendering? Tendering is a commercial exercise used by companies where if they want to change auditors, what do? Tendering involves two or more audit firms being invited by a company to submit a proposal paper for its audit work. The invitation may or may not include the existing auditor. This section describes the commercial tender process used by companies to select new auditors. Section 2 above addresses the specific legal and ethical mechanism associated with actual changing of auditors in Nigeria. So that's what said. How do people get new clients? Is when the company does what we call tendering, where it's just imagine like if you never heard of tendering before, Imagine a government contract. They want to do road. They're like, okay, everywhere that can make road in Nigeria, submit a proposal. That's the way it works. And then they will choose one person. So that whole process where they are submitting a proposal is called tendering, where they say, go and drop it in this office. Go and do this one. That is tendering. Okay. So what are initial considerations? Tendering should commence when the firm has been approached by a prospective client. In any case, a firm should not submit or tender for a work unless it gives satisfactory questions to the following. Number one, do we have the expertise to carry out this audit? Number two, does the firm have or could have can they have sufficient staff to carry out the work at the appropriate time? Not just having staff. Can they carry out the work at the appropriate time? Then are there ethical reasons why the firm could not act? Are there what ethical reasons why the firm could not act? Example, independence, conflict of interest, based on your relationship with the person, all of that. Are there problems which the firm is aware of with its current auditors? Okay. So as the firm been asked to tender, and then could it offer to do the audit for a lower fee than others are currently doing it? With the required time, with the required expertise, is this something that can work? And then what are the risks that can arise with these clients? This client that I've decided to work with, I've decided to go and start reviewing documents for, what are the risks? So these are questions that they call them initial considerations. Initial consideration. That means the moment somebody reach out to you that, do I still have a class?
Yes.
Okay. So the moment somebody reaches out to you that, we want you to also submit them down, these are the questions that you should ask yourself before you even decide to go and start wasting your time. So now, the whole road situation I explained, how does it work? Number one, the client will first reach out and say, we need auditors. Okay. So the benefit to the clients of tendering is that they want to be able to get the best fee from all the audit firms that would tender. Okay. Now, in response to reduce their audit fee, audit firms have become more efficient and lower their costs. Even so, the tendering process can still be high risk for a firm. Example, the firm needs to be confidential that the firm needs to be confidential that the client is one that you can deal with professionally and economically. Number two, if your tender is not accepted, you know the amount of time, the efforts that you have invested. Number three, the firm needs to be sure that a sufficient high proportion of its tenders will be successful to justify the cost of tenders. So there's, if you have somebody that is like a manager in the Big Four, they're at the level where they are going to go and bring jobs, they will understand things like that, because in the I'm not stop saying Big Fours, in this profession, the way they make income is that you charge time. So everybody is charging time based on the work they've done. So imagine that charging time on a job that does not eventually come. That's like a bad debt for the firm. So the tendering process should be broken down into stages, assuming the firm is collecting the tender, okay, for the new audit clients. Number one, collect background information of the clients. Okay, KPMG will come and audit mobile filling station. KPMG will first collect background information of mobile. Then they will establish the precise scope of work to be performed and the requirements for that work. Okay, they will send it. So in doing this, they will now do what? Carry out a preliminary risk assessment. You don't have so much information, but if it is a public liability company, they will have their audited statements, maybe on their website or somewhere on the web in their archives. You can go there, you can start looking at it, and you want to understand the areas where you are seeing leakages, the areas that are not straight to the point, and all of that. So we also have, in carrying out your preliminary risk assessment, you also need to plan your staffing requirements and time required for the work. So you don't want, like auditors, we don't like to do like artisans that they tell you that they will give it to you next week. You are still, you want to be able to stand on the timing that you give. Okay, so that is the plan must also cover the staff, must also cover the staffing requirements. Now, after you do all this, you get to a point where you are estimating a fee. You're estimating a fee. So, based on the time, you will now submit a fee to your clients. Okay, these are the people that will work on this job. A partner will work on it for 6 hours. An assistant clinic will work on it for 10 hours. This is how much their rate is, and you multiply that rate. That will determine what the fee will be. Okay? So the fee is not guesswork. It's based on the estimated time that they're supposed to spend on that engagement. Then we have prepare a submission document to the clients. What is your submission document supposed to contain? Somebody should read for us. What should your submission document to your clients? What should it contain? Is on your screen.
So one, it has to contain an outline of the key characteristics of the firm, clarification of the nature of the audit work or other non-audit work to be performed, a statement of the requirements of the client and how the firm will comply with them, an outline of how the work will be performed, the proposed fee, and the basis of its calculation, the range of other services which the firm could offer to the clients. If required, prepare and give a presentation to the potential clients.
Okay. Are you done? Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Hello?
We are with you.
It's done, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Okay. So based on, you can see that it was actually easy to walk through. Okay. So after you do this, you want to now submit your document. That document, what's it supposed to contain? It's supposed to contain all the key characteristics, their classification of their work, the requirement of the clients and how you intend to comply with them, an outline of how the work will be performed, a proposed fee, and how the calculation was gotten. Like I said, the range of services that you can also offer to that client. This one, they call it, I will talk about it more. And then if required, you give a presentation to the client. I've been part of the tendering process before. We called 2 audit firms and they presented for us. So evaluating the tender, this is the work of the client. So in evaluating the client's company has to make sure that fees are being agreed upon. That's what they signed up for. The fees that the firm is able to, like the fee that the firm is able to provide. Okay, the services that the firm is able to provide, the geographical location of the firm, the expertise of the firm and its staff, the reputation of their firm, whether senior management thinks that you'll be able to work. So this one is just other means of biases. Okay, so this one is like, oh, what's our rapport with this person? Right? Can we even have an offline conversation with their manager? And this happens a lot. Then a formal presentation itself by the audit team and the extent to which the company wants to change its audit firm and its dissatisfaction with the current audit firm. So basically, that's what we're trying to look at. So in evaluating a tender, the client company has to check a lot of things. Now, moving on to the concept of lowballing. Who has ever heard of lowballing before?
I've not heard.
Yes, what does lowballing mean? Who has ever heard of it before? Anybody?
Charging low price.
Okay. Where did you hear of it?
From you.
Uh, yeah, but like I mean, is there anybody that won't heard of it? Like maybe normally, like a conversation, a
Yes,
scenario
yes,
or
yes.
something.
Uh,
Many of you are in a company that bids a lot. You do biddings.
I've heard of lowballing.
Okay. Okay, so have you heard of this word before?
I said
I
I've heard of lowballing.
I've heard of lowballing. Hello?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I have heard of lowballing, but not necessarily in this context.
Okay. I don't know what is wrong, but I'm struggling to hear some people. Like you are speaking, but it's almost like so I'm using my system. Let me switch.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I said I've heard of lowballing, but not in this context.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. So lowballing is a practice where you are basically quoting an audit fee at a very, very low price with the hope that you are going to win the audits, right? And then when you now win the audits, they have two strategies when lowballing is being done. You'll be able to increase your audit fee in the future years. You are doing 3 million, 3 million, you just do 6 million or 9 million, right? Or number two, you'll be able to offer more services to the clients. You're able to reduce your losses by offering more services to the client. So 2 million naira a year, 4 million naira a year, and that's how your money will be complete. So that's lowballing. So lowballing is the practice of tendering very low with the objective of winning the audits. So number two, and what are the two strategies for lowballing? Number one, you want to increase the price later, Abi. And number two, you balance up your losses by providing other services for that client. Although there's no evidence that lowballing leads to poor quality audits, and there's actually no concrete evidence that it damages. Okay, there's no evidence that it leads to low quality audits, but it damages reputation. Imagine that everybody's coming to drop their quotes for auditing the company, 12 million. You now come and say, we'll do it 4 million. You're supposed to feel good now because based on price, you should select you. Abi, give me ginger, give me ginger. Based on price, they should select you, right?
Yeah,
But what will happen if you have four audit firm? Everybody's range was 10 to 12 million. Then somebody came and quoted 2 million. How will you look at the 2 million naira audit firm?
like they don't know what they are
What will you
doing.
ask them? What will you ask them? Are you
I
people
don't
sure
know.
that
They
you know
don't
what you
know.
want to come and do? Abi?
Yeah,
So that's the thing about lowballing. It may not lead to low quality or teaching you can speak. Well, less than 10. You can just unmute and speak.
So I have a
I'm listening.
question. I have a question. So
Okay.
does lowballing just affect big clients or big audit firms? Because if we are saying firms are lowballing in the sense that they are reducing prices so they can win audit cases, what if it is a startup audit firm that okay, basically they know what they want to do, they are efficient in what they do, and now they are giving you a reduced price for the same how do I put it? For the same
Service.
goal, for the same goal that the other firm that is charging you at a high price is going to give you, is that also lowballing?
Okay. So is lowballing when you people are all called for a bid, right? And maybe because of like if Dangote calls you for a bid now, you have an estimate of how much this audit should take. Like I was telling you that audit fee does not fall from heaven. They charge based on time. And based on insider information, they will know how much this other firm will know how much this other firm is charging for associate time. So for maybe a Zenith Bank now, if you're going to audit a FMGC, you already kind of estimate, if they are ahead. A major example is if they even publish their financial statements. They will post their audit fee, the service for their audit fee. It will be in their financial statements. So if they publish it and the people that are tendering, they have access to that information. There's a standing rule when it comes to manage independence that says that you cannot pay your new auditor lesser than what you were paying your previous auditor. Yes, it's showing intimidation. It's showing lack of independence. If you have a previous auditor that you're paying 5,000, if you change your new auditor, if you change to a new auditor, the least you can pay that new auditor is the baseline of what the previous auditor was getting. You cannot pay them lower than that. So it's based on all this information that you make your own tender. You understand? So that's why they are saying that it should not be too far off, in a way that is very clear that the reason why you are giving them this low price is because you want to get the job. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. So although there's no evidence that it leads to low quality of audits, it just kind of is giving desperation. You guys know desperado. Abi? Many. So
Okay.
it's just
Voice.
desperation, and that's what we don't want. So the existence of low fees may suggest to the business community and to the general public that the audit work is of low quality. You see, this is our work. They say don't care about what people say about if you're an accountant, don't listen to that. Care about what people say about you like mad, because what people say about you is what will put food on your table. So
So,
you
sorry, I
have
have
to
a
care about
question.
what people say about you. Now, the existence of low fees may suggest to the business community and to the general public that audit work is of
I have a
low
question. Can you hear me?
quality.
Someone asked a question.
Please, okay, I didn't hear that. Please speak, speak.
Okay, so please, I want to verify, is balling not contradicting ICAN rules on fee on advertising?
So ICANN is not saying low balling is a good thing. No, they're actually saying it's not a good thing. Their stand on it is that we have not catch anybody that lowballed and did low quality work. But the entire concept of lowballing just damages our reputation. So we don't want to be associated with that. Do you understand? So
Okay.
yes, just like you said, it contradicts ICANN rules. So that's already a breach. You get? She's not speaking again. No.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Okay. Yes.
Did
So
I?
it's against ICANN's rule.
Not really against. I don't know
Yes, you
how
did.
I don't
Yes.
want to use the blanket statement of against. It's not encouraged. It's not encouraged. Okay. So the thing is that, like now, when somebody tenders, the client is looking at the cheapest for the best value of money. You understand? So if you go by those two metrics alone, the client that lowballed will keep getting the work. You understand? So that's why they made that like a judgment to say that you need to make sure that you are charging what an average person in that industry would have charged for that service. So we have precondition. As per ISA 210, one of the things that you must confirm is to whether preconditions for your audit are present and whether there's a common understanding between you and your management. Very, very important. You don't want to go and enter work with somebody that you are not seeing eye to eye. Now, what are the preconditions? You want to establish if they've used the financial reporting framework to prepare their financial statement. I've told you, as an auditor, don't go anywhere and go and be preparing financial statement too. So you check if they've prepared it. Number two, you want to obtain written agreement for management that acknowledges them as the premise. Like that means they are the ones that are responsible for preparing financial statements, ensuring that there's internal control, and providing you with all the information that you need to be able to carry out your work. The auditor can refuse to accept an engagement or the third one is that all the information and personnel that you need. So an auditor can refuse to accept an engagement when there's what we call limitation in scope. For example, you want to audit a financial statement, I tell you that the first 5 months statement are born, and we did not see the evidence. Just help us to sign off the last 7 months. If you try it, you go to jail. What did I say? You will do jail. I think that's the next topic, professional liability or something. So if you go and try and be signing off things that you don't know what they've used that device for. They're just putting your fingerprint or So the auditor is allowed to refuse an engagement where there's limitation in scope, the financial framework used is not the one he accepts, or management does not agree to the above responsibility. They don't want to agree that they're the ones that are responsible for preparing the financial statements, providing internal control, and then giving you all the information that you need that you should go and sort it out by yourself. Agreeing the terms of condition, the objective of an engagement letter. Okay. Now, when you are satisfied that, oh, it seems that we can work together, that's where we'll now get to a point where what? They will sign an engagement letter. Now, what's an engagement letter? An engagement letter is a letter that is sent by the auditor, right, to the firm to sign, to agree on the condition, like to show that a assurance engagement has started between the both of them. Okay. And there are some things that are enshrined in the engagement letter. It shows the scope of the work, the extent of the work, the responsibility of the client, the responsibility of the auditor. So this is done to establish whether the preconditions are met, establish common understanding between the auditor and management, to establish precondition of an audit under ISA 210, and to make sure that the financial reporting has been prepared in an acceptable manner. Okay? You don't need to go into details of this one. The one that's exam question is content of an engagement letter. This is live and direct exam question. So the audit firm, they will use their letterhead to send that letter to the clients. That letter, it will have objective and scope of the audit. It will have responsibility of me that is sending you the letter, the auditor. It will have your own responsibility. Then they are supposed to identify the underlying financial reporting framework. What did we use? Is he International Financial Reporting Standards? Is he IPSAS? Is he You want to outline the financial reporting framework that you'll be using, because that is under ASHA. Do you guys remember ASHA? Under assurance engagements. What is suitable criterion? What does suitable criterion mean? So suitable criterion is the financial reporting framework that is being used. And then reference of expected form and content of the report to be issued. So they also broke down some things, like some definition that they want you to know. I'll just define them and move on. On page fees, the way it works is that before you sign an engagement letter as a new audit firm, if the previous auditor has not been paid, you have to help him and make sure that if they pay him. And why do we do that? Is us looking out for each other. Can see a chat. Okay, you're welcome, Zubi. The class is being recorded. We've done 2 classes before now, and they are on YouTube. So you can always re-listen to this recording or recordings from the 2 previous classes. Please make sure you do that. So you have to make sure that you help that old auditor to collect his money, because we believe that they should do it to him, they will do it to you too. Okay, that is how I can look at unpaid fees. Confidentiality. Now we're supposed to be confidential. Okay, we're supposed to treat everything that's all the business relationship that we had with our clients as confidential. However, it's important in terms of us fulfilling our auditor's obligation that you should disclose such information to the next auditor. these are these people used to behave, or they will not give you this until this time, or they will not do this one until this time, or you need to be active, or and all of that. So it is allowed for auditors to have, they used to call it like, when in your engagement letter, you can request for your client to book a date with your previous auditor, or your client can give you your previous auditor's number yourself. So any question that you have, actually when the person is no more working in that organization, they can basically ask their questions. So that's ICANN's rule on the confidentiality, like, oh, it should not be in a way that you disregard another auditor. Tell the auditor what is going on. Not auditor now. Like you disregard, you disregard another person, right? So we have defamation. It is likely that an existing auditor will communicate to a prospective successful matters of damage or them, like damaging to the client's reputation, who have a strong measure of protection uh, instead of defamation that is brought to him. Okay? This means that he should not be liable to pay for damages for defamatory statements, even if they turn out not to be true, provided that they were made without malice. So what are they trying to say? They're like, oh, when the auditors meet, it's possible that in gisting, they will now go and say things that put the client in bad light in front of the auditor. But you cannot sue that client. You cannot sue that client except you have so much evidence as to the fact that this person intentionally did what they are doing. Okay, so the chances of an incumbent being held to have acted maliciously, he must provide that number one, what he says is sincere. He believes that it's sincerely true, and number two, he does not make reckless imputations against clients or individuals connected with it. Like before now, the person doesn't talk anyhow. So you're like, oh, for this person to talk, I want to feel that there's truth in what this person is saying, that kind of thing. So joint audits, this is when they bring two firms together to come and carry out an audit. Most of the time, they used to do one big audit firm and one small audit firm. But some companies have big money, they can do two big audit firms at the same time. Then we have vacancy. A member whose firm is invited as nomination for the death of a sole proprietorship should endeavor to submit information, like transfer of books. Yeah. So the way it works is as they are changing auditor, the old auditor should give the new auditor the working papers, like his file that he was using, should be able to transfer it to the new auditor. But the only reason why they will not transfer it is if there's what they call lien. Somebody say lien. Lien. That means a lien is lawful withholding of a goods because the customer is yet to pay. That is lien. So except there is a lien, what happens? You are supposed to give the document to. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I had to do something quickly. So members should know that there's no the that there's no lien can exist over book or document of a registered company, either by statute or by application. They have to be available for public inspection. So the only reason is the ones that are his own, like documents that he created. You cannot do lien for the memorandum of association or like the company's document. No, the ones that you prepared for that work that you were doing. Okay, so that's if the client has refused to pay you. Then we have additional work. A member invited to take recurring or non-recurring work related to the work carried out by another chartered accountant should do what? Should make sure that the interest of the other person is aware of the additional work communicate with them, make sure that their all the opinions, like make sure that what the two of you are saying aligns sort of. Person should not be going this way and you should be going the other way. We'll talk about it more when we do joint audits. I'm guessing I think there should be group audit here, but I'm not sure. But yes. So another part of this, I think that's the last part of this chapter is okay, so how do they appoint an auditor? Number one. How do they appoint an auditor? Number one. What are the duties and powers of an auditor? No, this is not even the way I wanted to do it. How do they appoint an auditor? How is an auditor being paid? How is an auditor being removed? Okay, they are all here. So we'll do how they appoint. Okay, maybe we can do it that way. How they appoint, talk about their right and duties, and then how they are being paid and how they are being removed. Okay, how do they resign? How do they resign as well? Okay, so let's look at it like gist now. There are three ways in which an auditor is being appointed. Are you guys with me?
With you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are three ways in which an auditor is being appointed. The first auditor of a company are being appointed by the directors. So the first auditor of a company are being appointed by the directors because at that time they will not have done any annual general meeting. The second one, which is the normal appointment of auditors, auditors are being appointed. Okay. So the second thing is that auditors are being appointed at an annual general meeting. Okay. Auditors are being appointed at an annual general meeting. So the recurring auditors of an organization are going to be appointed at an annual general meeting. So that is where they will have had shareholders and then there'll be an audit committee. The committee is the one that will have received all the proposal, all the tendering. They will now come and say, oh, is at this point, based on our recommendation, we are recommending this. It is the shareholders that will now like assert that appointment. Okay. And then they will now be appointed. The third way that they can be appointed is that if the registrar of CAC sees that a company has existed for over, if a registrar of company sees that a company has existed for over 6 months without an auditor, he has the right to also appoint an auditor for that company based on his role. Okay, so that's a third way that auditors are being appointed. So number one, they can be appointed by directors. The first one appointed by directors. Number two, the recurring one are being appointed by, the recurring ones are being appointed at an AGM. And then the third one is being appointed by who? The registrar of CAC. Okay. Now, what are now the duties? Okay, what are the reasons why a retiring auditor may not be deemed fit for reappointment? Let's say he's not qualified for reappointment, the resolution has been passed that one is retiring, he has indicated his willingness that he does not want to be reappointed, and then yeah, just things like that. So, what are the duties of an auditor? Number one, the main reason why they are calling you is to do what? Form an opinion as to whether the right records have been kept. Okay. Number two, you form an opinion as to whether the proper records have been kept, whether the returns are adequate, and whether the company's SOFP and income statements are in agreement with the law. When you now do this, that opinion, it will be inside an audit report. Number two, you can qualify that report if it's necessary. Number three, ensuring his acquaintance with articles and other statutes of the company So its audit is being due alliance, then investigation based on request. So just the major work is to do express an opinion, and that opinion should be in a report. What are the powers? Two powers, very important powers. Number one, they have the right to access all books of accounts. That's all books of accounts, records, and vouchers. Then number two, they have the right to information and explanation at all necessary times. They have the right to what? Information and explanation at all necessary times. They have a right to information and explanation at all necessary times. Okay. So remuneration of an auditor. The auditor's remuneration shall be fixed at an annual general meeting, and the auditors appointed by the directors. They will fix the remuneration at an AGM. So, but who fixes it? It is in the audit committee level, we shareholder, that they will have agreed that this is what the fees are. Okay. So the remuneration of an auditor is being fixed at the general meeting. Okay. Number three, removal of auditors. This one. The auditor may be removed by an ordinary resolution before his term expires. What's an ordinary resolution? If you are 7 people in the meeting and 4 people say remove him, 3 people say don't remove him, is removed. Okay? That's an ordinary resolution. Why a special resolution is you have to be 2/3. So if there are 6 people, what's 2/3? 4 people needs to say, if you are 9, 2/3. Yes, if you are 9, 6 people need to say you should go before the person will be let go. So a company auditor can be removed by ordinary resolution before the expiration of his term. And number two, a resolution removing the auditor must be past 14 days. Like it must be notified 14 days before it's being removed. Okay. So one thing you need to notice is that an auditor is appointed by special resolution with, I'm coming, let me read something. Rights of an auditor. It is paramount that an external auditor is as independent as possible. For this reason, his appointment is usually by special resolution. You guys already know what special resolution is now, Abi. 2/3 of the members voting for him. Same way, his removal will be by the same special resolution. Okay, so who is now removed by ordinary resolution? A company may by ordinary resolution remove an auditor from the expiration of his term, notwithstanding any agreements. I believe that removal is by ordinary resolution, but appointment is special resolution. Okay? Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. So next we have resignation. This is one that is very dramatic. Now, resignation. So if Oyindamola says that, I don't want to audit this client again, what shall I do? Number one, she will have to she will give a notice in writing to the company's registered office that, okay, I'm not auditing people again. Now, when she does that, she has to accompany that notice in writing with a letter of circumstance or no circumstance. Letter of circumstance just means, this is the reason why I'm leaving. As letter of what? Circumstance. The director slapped me. I'm having issue with their CFO. The CFO don't used to hear word. They're not applying the principles I know. all of that. But letter of no circumstances that there's no reason why I'm resigning. I'm just tired of this work. I don't want to do it again. That's a letter of no circumstance. So on depositing the notice at the company's registered office, within 14 days, they'll give a notice, they'll send it to everybody that is to receive the company's financial statements. So their directors, everybody, they will hear. And then they will now say, okay, all aggrieved person, people that have questions, why did they leave us? What's going on in this board? They will have that meeting. The auditor will come and explain himself. If they are not still satisfied, they can still sue they can take the matter to court. If courts now realize that there was no reason for this auditor to resign now, it just seems like this auditor was just doing this thing for needless publicity. The auditor will have to refund the amount of money that was spent in notifying everybody that he was resigning from the engagement. So that is how resignation goes. Is it straightforward? Is it straightforward?
Yes, it is.
Tijani, I didn't hear that.
Yes, yes, it is. It's straightforward.
Ah, Abi, you want to run away, you want to go. That's why. But this resignation is very dramatic, by the way.
Okay. I mean, if we don't understand, we can always like ask questions even after the class, right?
Yes, please, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
How is it dramatic?
Huh?
What did you say?
I said there's no problem. Yes, you can always ask questions.
You guys want
All
to
right.
you want to tell us how it's not straightforward. I want to,
Yes, now, like, it's not be hard. Maybe you wanted to appoint me. Three over four of the shareholders said appoint me. You appointed me. Oh yeah, I want to leave your engagements. And then you're calling everybody and telling me to write letter of circumstance or no circumstance. If somebody is not agreed, you take me to court. If court now say there was no need for me to resign, I will now have to pay back all the money that you have used to distribute to like all the money, like all the media costs that you used to distribute, all the cost of mail, like that time you were not using mail, but like all the notices that you have sent to people that I'm resigning from an engagement, you now tell me that I should pay it because there was no need for me to resign. It's somehow it can be a prompt time. Imagine that you have a shareholder and then your auditor is saying that they are leaving an engagement. You're like, what's going on? You understand? Is this person saying something that we are not saying? Do you get? So I was just like, for a work that you can be given by shareholders, the fact that you don't allow them to just resign is somehow. Do you understand?
okay. But what's the I really don't understand it too because somebody wants to resign and you are making the person to pass through all those process. Like I don't understand it actually.
So you know that the work that audit does is to add credibility to financial statements. Okay. So just imagine that somebody has said that, okay, I'll do this audit. And then in the middle of the engagement, the person says that I don't want to do work on this audit again. I want to leave this engagement. You that are the shareholder, what first comes to your mind? What happened? Abi?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Exactly. So the reason why they have to do all this back and forth is to confirm that nothing happened. This person just
Oh,
genuinely said that they don't want to be our auditors again.
okay. Probably the shareholders might be concerned that probably he's saying something. That's why he wants to leave the. Okay, now I understand. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they said that also when the auditor where there's a circumstance leading to an auditor's resignation, it should be brought to the attention of the members of the company and the auditor has a right to request for the directors to call an extraordinary general meeting for the purpose of receiving and considering such circumstance connected with his resignation. So you see what I said about the drama. So if there's a circumstance like, okay, when you first write a letter notifying that you want to resign from the engagement, that letter is supposed to follow another letter. That other letter is called letter of circumstance or no circumstance. Letter of circumstance, you write it that this is the reason why I'm leaving this engagement. Oh, we don't have enough staff. This company is growing and we're not able to accommodate the way they are growing in our audits, like that kind of thing. But letter of no circumstances, that there's no reason why I'm leaving. I just want to leave this engagement. I don't want to audit you people again. So your notice will follow either a letter of circumstance or no circumstance. So you know how we do it now. I'll let you guys go today, but there are past questions for this chapter. This chapter is questions choke for this chapter. I can start it with advertising and fees. Then they can ask you about tendering. They could say, explain the following terms: tendering, lowballing, what are the content of engagement letter? What is an engagement letter? What are the content of engagement letter? Explain the concept of collecting unpaid fees as a new auditor. Explain the concept of speaking to your predecessor as a new auditor on an engagement. What are the reasons? Explain the concept of transferring of books, right? Then they will ask you, how is an auditor being appointed? What are the duties and powers of an auditor? Why is an auditor being appointed? Who fixes their remuneration? How are they being removed? And how do they resign? Can you see? Everything I listed here, by the grace of God, is an exam question. And I cannot lie for you. That can be asked. So if you look at the analysis of past question, you see that, let me check.
Please, I have question.
Actually, you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just up until November 2020 to November 2014, it was asked over 12 times. I think that's like I can see 12 or 10 times. So this is not a chapter that you just roll your leg. You can ask before we end the class. Thank you.
Appointment of an auditor. You mentioned like 3, how an auditor can be appointed, but I don't. Can you help us and add it to this material, because it's not in this material.
Okay.
You mentioned.
So if you are asked, how is an auditor being appointed? Say that an auditor is being appointed at an annual general meeting. Okay? What is here is sufficient for you. But you are expected to understand these things. Don't do an exam that's okay, you're just scared of passing. The essence of this course is that you come out refined. Oh, how an auditor been appointed? Is the company already existing? Are they already having an annual general meeting? Okay, if that's what it is, they'll be appointed there. If it's a new company, they will not have an annual general meeting yet now, so the directors will appoint them. These are conversations that you have with people that they will know that, oh, this person knows what they are saying. So yes, even if it is not in the confines of this book, it is here. Appoint the first auditor to hold the office until the conclusion of the first AGM. Can you see it here? Also, they can fill a casual vacancy. So if the office is being left for 6 months, the directors can either fill that vacancy, not sit there. No, this filling a vacancy is maybe the auditor resigned in the middle of the engagement. If all the kind of things happen, it's directors that will be filling it up. Okay. So if it is section 401 of CAMA that they asked you, just say that every company appoints their auditors at their annual general meeting. But as a professional, you're expected to know the full scope. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
What a day. You guys have tried. We have done really well today. 2 hours. Okay, it was a good one. So let me know how I can help you. Small. You guys start reading. re-listen to the voice notes when you're washing plates. So next tomorrow is Saturday, you have classes, but not a lot, but tomorrow, if you're on transit, just play this video on YouTube, listen to it. You have paid money, use it. Listen to it so that my voice will start cracking. I'll just be somewhere, I'll be scratching my throat. But I've not started feeling like I'm scratching my throat. So that means you're not taking out the juice of this class. Thank you guys very much. Let's not waste too much time. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good
So
night.
our next class is going to be on next week Saturday, next week Thursday. We'll be talking about internal audits. Okay. Bye guys.